lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast with The Whole Truth. If you were unlucky enough to miss today's TikTok live, then this one is for you. So this is just a replay of the live we did today on TikTok, our first ever live for TWT5.0, and it was great. We were actually discussing the Caitlyn and Ivy drama, and then Caitlyn came to the live. So we just invited her on the live to give her side of the story, which is what TWT is all about, because there is always three sides to every story. So enjoy part one.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. So my ex and my now husband had separated in February of 2018 due to some issues of his end. So in that time, I started talking with a guy that I had dated from high school, which is Brooke's dad. And him and I stopped talking because he was cheating on me with his first child's mother.
Is this the Mike or the Cody dude?
Mike.
Right.
And then in July, it was like mid-July, my now husband had reached back out to me that he had missed my kids. He wanted to try and work things out. So I agreed. So we started talking in mid-July, which I had already knew I was pregnant and had already talked to Ivy about the adoption. So then me and my now husband decided on July 29th, which was my birthday, to get back together. So I'd already talked with Ivy about the adoption and already had decided on the adoption before getting with my husband.
Right. But were you... Okay, this is what my question is, though. I guess this is where people are confused because of, like, the way some of the stuff you say on your page and some of the stuff you said on my page is, like, really contradicting. And that's where everyone's kind of confused. Because, like...
I think it's just how I worded it, not necessarily contradicting, just how I worded it.
So with the next question, that selfie, that's in Atrayu's bedroom. I know that's in Atrayu's bedroom. The happy birthday to me, 26 never felt better.
But does not mean that I have slept with Atrayu.
But that is his bedroom, yeah?
That is his bedroom, but I have not slept with Atrayu. Have not.
Has Atrayu tried?
No, he has not tried.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. So
no, he has not tried.
Atrayu tries on everyone. Everyone. I don't believe that.
I know.
If you had said, yeah, he tried, I would probably believe that you didn't sleep with him if you had said, yeah, he tried, but I denied it. But because you said he didn't try, that makes me think that, yes, only because of that, because I know he tries on everybody.
No, Atrayu and I hardly even talk. Most of our communication is not through Atrayu.
Through his mum?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there was another thing. You said that Ivy did not attempt to see Brooks at all.
Correct.
When you went to Alabama, or?
She messaged me probably about a month ago that she thought she was finally ready to see Brookson, but has made no effort since then to actually see him. I texted her and told her when I was coming to Alabama due to me having off for a week at work, and told her the date that I was going to be here, the date that I was leaving, and she did not make any effort outside of being excited that I was coming to see him.
What about offering to go to the beach?
She offered to go to the beach. She offered to go to the water park, and I told her that Brooks and Barrett would not enjoy that. And then she said, okay, well, let me talk to Az. So she talked to Az, and then she said that she was going to go to the beach. But me and my kids had already been to the beach, already had gotten sunburnt, and I was not about to take the kids sunburnt to the beach, and I told her that.
But that's kind of a bit unfair for you to say that she didn't make any effort at all to see Brooks, but when she did. because like
But
offering to
in
go
her text
to go to
message,
the water.
prior to asking to go to the water park, she did not say she wanted to see Brooks. She said she wanted to see me.
Is that not the same thing?
No. Why would you want to see me? Why would you not want to see Brooks?
But that's the same.
I don't message
That's
my
kind of
kids'
what you
other
said before,
parents
though, with
saying
the
I want to see you.
wording. I can kind of see
She
why she
never.
said, "Oh, I want to see you," and she didn't say, "I want to see Brooks." If she said, "I want to see Brooks," it probably sound like she's just, purely using you to see Brooks. Like maybe she wanted to see you and
No, and
Brooks.
that would be fine with me. If she asked me to see Brooks, that's fine. But you do not need to see me to see Brooks. That's
Why wouldn't?
same
But
thing
why
as like
wouldn't you want to
poking
see her
things.
though?
She can have her child without me. I can see her and she can get Brooks, but she does not need to say she just wants to see me. I don't message my children's parent and say, "Hey, I want to see you," just so they can see their child.
But I feel like that's kind of a bit of a, I don't know, like I think you're just taking the words and making them seem like they're something that they're not, because it's not like you guys were in a relationship together. Like, I
But
understand that.
there's more to it because she doesn't hardly ever ask about Brookson. She always asks about how the children are. How are all of the kids? She's not asking about how Brookson. She asks how all of the kids are.
Is that so bad though?
No, it's not bad, but given the situation, she should be asking about the child that I have, not all of my other children.
Right. Okay, and the other question, that when you did your last one, and you said some women these days need to go to jail for what they do, is that directed at?
That is
Be
not
honest,
directed towards Ivy at all. That is
it's
not
not.
directed towards Ivy at all. No, no, no.
So what about the other one that says, if you quit telling lies, I'll quit telling the truth about you. I'm not scared to hang out the dirty laundry. Was that?
Oh, yeah, because she tells everybody that I just came and got Brookson, and that is by no means what happened.
She tells everybody that?
Yes.
What makes you think that she
Yes.
tells everyone that? I haven't been told that. That's not something I've heard.
Because that is what you and Mama were told. The two
That who
important
was?
people were told that I just showed up and picked him up.
Atrayu and Vicky.
Mm-hmm.
But do you
They
really
were under
believe
the
anything
impression that
that?
I just showed up.
Do you really believe anything that Atrayu says? Like, I know
No,
you
but his
guys need to
mom
be
had
on good
showed me
terms,
the
but
messages with Ivy.
you've got to think about this though. Like, everyone's like, oh well, it's Atrayu's mum. Like, she's a saint because it's Atrayu's mum and she's an old lady and whatever. But you can't possibly for 1 minute think that she's innocent in any of this. Like, even when he broke up with with Ivy beforehand, if it was your child and your child had a baby with another woman and that baby died, would you not make sure your child went home to his wife to make sure she was okay?
I'm
Like, do
not going
you
into
think
that
that's
because I don't
acceptable?
know what exactly happened in that situation,
But no matter
nor
what
have
happened,
I
even
seen the proof.
if she was like from their back room, does it even matter if she's pregnant with his child and that baby dies and he doesn't even make the effort to go home, even if they weren't together? Would you not think? Do you think that that's okay for him to not go back to attend to,
So
like, not just her but their children at home?
even Ivy has told me about that situation that Atreyu asked if him and his mother can come. And Ivy said, no, you can come by yourself. Even though she said that she wanted Atreyu's mom to come.
Yeah, but I can kind of see why she wouldn't want Atreyu's mum to be there and why she'd want Atreyu there, because, like, she didn't have sex with Atreyu's mum to have a baby, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if they're having issues in there with everything that's happening in their marriage, like, I feel like it would just be a place for him to go back and not the mum. Like, I feel like the mum is always inserting herself where she doesn't belong. Like, she can make the effort to drive back with Atreyu or to drive Ivy back to the airport, but she can't make the effort to talk to her son and be like, hey, you know, you need to go home and sort out your crap. I feel like
I said, I don't know that whole situation. I was just told bits and pieces by Ivy. Me and Atrayu's mom and Atrayu have not discussed that because it's personally none of my business.
So if it was your child, you wouldn't care if they didn't go back to their wife?
Oh no,
Like, do
I
you
would
think that
definitely
there's
make sure my
any
child.
situation where that's acceptable, or?
I believe in some situations that it would be considered acceptable for that she would punch herself and call the cops.
Is this what Atrayu's mum said? Or what Atreyu said?
Neither one of them have said. I just stated a statement.
Yeah, but it's a pretty specific statement.
No, it's just one of those. I mean, my stepmom did it growing up. She would beat herself and then call the cops on my father. So yes, in that situation, I would not.
Right. I don't know. I kind of, well, see, the way I look at it, I understand Ivy probably doesn't tell all the truths to everyone. There's probably things that she's held back, but I also know what a piece of shit Atrayu is. Like, I've seen it myself in like the police reports where that little girl, like I've seen lots of stuff. So I don't really believe a lot that comes from his mouth, because especially his parents, because his parents, like, they back him up with everything, and they would have known about this. Like, he was 20 at the time with that girl, so his parents would definitely know about it, but yet they choose to defend that sort of a person. And like, to me, like, I understand that, you know, I get what you're saying. Like you said, oh, your mum did this and that, but at the time, their relationship, they was meant to be still together. Like, so why would he be so afraid that she was going to punch herself and say that he did it? Like, that seems like a bit far-fetched, you know?
Like I said, I don't know. I don't get into their marriage. I didn't ever ask about their marriage. I never got into their marriage. All I cared about was the situation with Brooks.
Yeah. I don't know. I can see why Ivy would be hurt though, because like, you've made all this effort to go and see Atrayu and his mum, but then none with her, just because of wording. Like, I just don't understand how her saying she wanted to see you, like, I don't, not just that, but like, I don't get, even if she was saying, hey, I want to see you, like, you guys said that you were friends for like years beforehand, so I don't see how that's that out of the ordinary.
There was just too many lies that had been said about me, that only things that Ivy had known, that I just did not feel comfortable. But at the end of the day, she is still Brookson's mother, so I would still expect her to see Brookson, but she has not made any plans to see Brookson outside of that one day.
Right.
And I've been here for 4 days, and she made one day of plans.
Was she not texting you beforehand to like get in touch with you?
No.
Because I know there was a time where there was messages being sent, but you weren't talking.
No, and that's because I was angry at a situation, and I just knew it was better to keep my mouth shut.
I just kind of feel like the both of you, like, no matter what, like, even, you know, I know you're saying, well, she said she wanted to see me and didn't want to see Brooks. Like, at the end of the day, the result's the same. Whether she said she wants to see you or she wants to see Brooks, the end result's the same. And don't you want what's best for Brooks? Like, don't you both want to get along and make sure that Brooks is happy?
I just feel if she was really that concerned with Brooks, she would make more effort.
You don't feel like this is turning into like a nasty relationship? It kind of feels like it, from the outside looking in, it kind of looks like you guys are like a disgruntled couple that are like using a baby as like, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you guys never had like a sexual, well, as far as we know, you guys didn't have a sexual relationship. So like, there shouldn't be that sort of bad blood. And I feel like Atrayu and his mum are causing more harm than good with their bits and pieces. Like, I just, you know, I don't know.
It's not.
At the end
It's
of the
not
day, Brooks
necessarily
is the
that
one that's going to suffer.
It's not necessarily that Atrayu's mom and Atrayu are causing issues. It's My gut for the last 2.5 years have been telling me something was wrong and something was up and things were not true. I had found out from her attorney in Indiana that what she was telling me was not true. I have legal documentation from her attorney and from the courts that what she was telling me was not true. I have picture proof of things that she was telling me was not true. I have screenshots of proof of things that she was saying that were not true. So
And
at
like,
the
if
end of the
that's the
day, I
case,
was
like, that's
mad.
terrible. I agree with you. If that's the case, that's, like, I don't agree with that at all. But why is Ivy being punished for this and not Atrayu? Like, Atrayu was married to Ivy. You cannot tell me he didn't know what was going on. Like, he knows. He's just a manipulative.
I mean, he only could know what she was telling him.
They're
Same
married.
with me and my
They're both
husband.
on the same paperwork. They get the same phone calls. Like you've got to
No,
understand.
when I spoke with the attorney in Indiana, he told me that most of the conversations were done through Ivy. He
But
had
do you
heard from
really think that
Atrayu.
Ivy didn't tell Atrayu? Like, Atrayu
I mean,
knows.
it's hard to say what goes on in a marriage. I mean, I didn't always tell my husband things that were going on between me and my son's dad, or things that me and my son's dad had talked about and agreed upon.
But that's a little bit
So it's
different
hard to
between
say.
that and when they've adopted a child together.
Not really,
Like,
because
I
me and
understand,
my
like, Aslan and Andrew situation being the same, but not the other way around.
my husband has been involved since I had my 4-year-old. So at the end of the day, and we were married. So at the end of the day, whatever we did, me and Grayson's dad did together, was also up to me and Brett, because it went in our household. Same with Grayson's dad and his wife. Whatever Tyler and I agreed upon is between his wife and all of us. I mean, it's a joint thing. Same with the
Yeah.
adoption. It's a joint thing. If she didn't tell Atrayu everything that was going on, that's their business.
I
I
know,
don't know
but
what was
like, what I'm
said,
saying is
what wasn't.
you're assuming that was the case, that he doesn't know, but I don't know if we can really say that he didn't know about it. Like, I feel like, because you got to remember, back then, this wasn't when they were having issues and he wasn't living there. This is when he's living there and they're doing everything together. Like, I really feel like anything that she knew, Atreyu also knew. And I know that at this point he's going to use that because obviously he's going to try and paint her out to be the bad guy.
I know when there was first problems in the adoption, that she was telling me, and Atrayu was under the same impression, because she was telling me things that Atrayu was doing, that so at some point she was telling me and Atrayu the same things, and then it switched. She was telling Atrayu completely different things than she was telling me. She was also telling the attorney that I was trying to get Brookson back from her, which was not true at all. But that's what she was telling her attorney. So when she was telling me that her attorney was not communicating with her, and I
Did the
reached out to her
attorney tell
attorney,
you this, or did Trey tell you this?
the attorney, when I spoke with the attorney 2 months ago, when I'd gotten the paperwork that the adoption was dismissed, I reached out to him and said, hey, blah, 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 this is my name. We're needing to dismiss the adoption as I have the child back. He said, hey, can I call you within 30 minutes? He said, hey, can I call you? He called me, and I sat on the phone with him for 2 hours. Ivy told me that he would never reach out to her, and he told me the opposite. He said that I would reach out to Ivy, and she would not return phone calls. She would not answer. He said I even reached out to her on the weekend in hopes that she would be less busy, and she still never answered me. Ivy has left him with thousands of dollars that she has not paid for,
Right.
as well as the adoption being dismissed.
And you're saying that there was never any paternity test done on
Unless
Brookson?
Ivy and them did it behind my back, no, there has been no paternity test done for Brookson.
Because didn't you believe that Cody was the dad?
I had told Ivy that I was not sure exactly who the dad was, just because my due date changed 2 different times.
And you didn't say that it couldn't be Mike's?
When I first found out I was pregnant, I thought it was Mike's. And then once Brookson got older, he did not look like Mike. He looked like Cody.
I thought he was Cody's as well because he looked exactly like him. It's got me yeah, like, honest to God. I don't know
But
if you
he
guys have
also
seen a
looks like
picture of
Mike's other
Cody.
child. So he also looks like
Yeah, I did.
Mike's other child.
Yeah. No, I did, because I seen the picture of Cody, and when everyone was saying he was Mike's, I was like, there's no way. Like, this kid looks just like Cody. So that blew me away, because I was like, sorry, I'm just going to
But
read
no,
some of
like I said,
these.
my due date changed 2 different times.
Yeah. This is so messy, and for what? That poor kid. Well, that's my biggest concern with the whole thing is obviously Brookson. Like, everyone says they want Brookson's best interest at heart, but, like, I feel like Brookson's best interest would be to see everyone, and, like, everyone just, because at the end of the day, I get where it's going to be messy with Atrayu and Ivy, but it shouldn't be messy with you and Ivy, or you and Atrayu. Like, it's like the perfect, it's like the perfect
I
situation. Like,
guess it's
certain
messy
people,
with me and Ivy because she was I guess it's messy between me and Ivy because she was lying to other people about the situation, and I found out that she was lying to other people about the situation and shaking me
like,
to
to
the
other
back.
people personally,
And I was
or because
nothing but nice to her and trying to figure it out.
I've
Do
never
what?
seen her. Do you mean other people as in Atrayu and Vicky, or other people? Because I've never seen her say anything on social media, even
Yeah,
about
so
it.
there were screenshots from Ivy. There are screenshots from Ivy to them that they were supposed to come pick Brookson up from me within 6 weeks. That Ivy was scared that I was never going to bring him back. That there was no agreement that I was coming to get him whatsoever. That I had just shown up at her house and took him. And that was not the case.
Right.
I was supposed to come and pick him up April 5th. And then she texted me the day of Kesme's party and said, "Hey, can you come sooner? I don't think it's good for Brookson to stay here for 2 weeks and then leave." She spent less than 24 hours with him before I took him.
Right. So
Because he had been in Alabama with them.
what was the reason for the adoption not working out? Because from what we've heard, it was because you can't adopt a child and take them out of state.
So I'm not exactly 100% sure why the adoption didn't work. So at the time, Indiana, back in January of 2021, I think it is, now allows out of state adoptions. But at the time of our adoption, Indiana did not allow out of state adoptions unless it was a hard to place child. A white baby boy is not considered hard to place, whether a preemie, whether autistic, or whatever.
So
At the time, that was Indiana's law. They have since changed. Ivy had told me that the attorney had not done ICPC paperwork properly or correctly. The attorney kind of agreed to some of that, but kind of did not. He told me that ICPC was done here in Indiana, but in South Dakota's end, they had changed whoever was doing that paperwork. So the paperwork was not done in South Dakota. So that in itself could be a legal issue on Ivy and Atrayu for the adoption because it was not done in the state of Indiana before that being done.
So did they have to do police checks to do an adoption? Because this is, a lot of people are like, well, this is weird that Atrayu. Because, like, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
so,
when he was,
they have to do a background. They have
so
to do
did
a
his
background
thing come up then or no?
Not to my knowledge. Ivy did not tell me about anything until she had found out.
And that was the start, like, after her and Atrayu broke up, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think that she knew beforehand?
If she did, she did not tell me.
Yeah. But yeah, what I was saying before is, like, a lot of people when they get divorced or they break up, and then it's easier for them to not see each other, so they'll drop the child off at daycare, and then the other one picks them up from daycare and stuff. Like, this should really be the perfect situation. And I feel like you're kind of getting dragged in between the Atrayu and Ivy situation, because Atrayu's telling you one thing and Ivy's telling you the other thing. Is it not best for you to just not listen to either of their claims and just look out for what's best for Brooks and, you know, make sure that
For
Brooks is
me,
seeing both
it's
those
facts.
parents?
For me, it's the facts. Who has the facts of what they're saying? Who has the proof?
But even if Atrayu's, you know, Ivy's the worst, Atrayu's like everything's, you know, he's in the right here and she's the piece. If that was the case, that shouldn't have any reflection on Brooks. You know, like at the end of the day, is it not what's best for him? Like, even if you're hating on Ivy right now because of what she's done or said to you, is that more important than Brooks seeing her?
No. We're friends. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
She's made it clear that it was a legal issue with the sketchy adoption. Maybe Trey would have known the truth if he actually showed up. That's a good point. Like, I just find it so shit. Like, even Caitlyn, you yourself, you have to look at this and go, isn't it that he did not come home to hand Brooks back in his own family home at the time? Like, I understand, like, you know, you and Trey have this friendship or whatever the hell's going on there, but you have to recognise that his behaviour is shit. To not come back to hand Graylin back, to not come back to hand Brookson back, to not come back after his baby had died. I don't know. I just think it's... And I really don't think it was Vicky's place to invite herself back to that. Like, you know, Ivy's not going to say to Vicky, well, no, you shouldn't come, because she doesn't want to be rude. But at the same time, like, why would she even invite herself back to something that should be a private moment, you know? And obviously we all know that Atrayu had a girlfriend.
So I'm going to answer this one. So basically you felt like she had betrayed that friendship when she wasn't telling you the truth. Yes, because for 3 years, my life had been turned upside down because she was reaching out to me to contact attorneys to try to figure out how to make the adoption work. Instead of her calling attorneys, I was having to call attorneys. For the last 2 years, I had been up in the air on whether or not I was going to get a child that I knew nothing about back. So yes, that ruined our friendship.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Brooks even when I put him up for an adoption. It's not that I didn't love him, which is why I chose adoption. I just was not in a good place financially with 3 other children to be able to bring in another child.
How do you become in a good place? Didn't you have your next baby like a year later?
A year and a half later, I had another child with my husband. And then now I'm in a good place. I have bought my own vehicle. I have bought my own house. So I'm in a better place than where I was living with my mom in a 3-bedroom house with my already 3 children driving a Honda Civic.
Yeah. Just joining. Wish I knew this was going on. Oh, sorry. Someone said, did
I want
Brookson
back? I wanted what I thought was best for Brookson. I have offered Ivy several times over the last couple years guardianship if we could not get the adoption figured out. I wanted whatever I thought was best for Brookson. And at the time, I thought what was best for him was to stay with his parents. Because in the end, they are his parents. Yes, I'm his birth mom. Yes, I'm still his mom. But they were his parents. They raised him from day one.
So what does guardianship mean exactly? Is that where you have custody but she looks after him, or?
So guardianship means different things in different states. In Indiana, like, I could give guardianship to my mom. That gives my mom legal authorization to do whatever with my child, as well as physically have my child if that's what I so deem.
Right. And so you offered guardianship and she said no?
She said that her attorney supposedly told her that would not be ideal long term, but a guardianship can be as long as parents and whoever decide. There's no long-term, short-term guardianship. It's just however long.
So what did Ivy want from it? Did she say she wanted from it?
She said she would do guardianship if that was a last resort. And then it was, can you come get him, basically.
Right. So what was the, like you said, she wanted guardianship if that was the last resort. So before then, she just wanted it to be the adoption?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that was while her and Atrayu were together. And then once her and Atrayu separated, there was no guardianship. It was just basically come get him. Because me and Atrayu aren't together, I can't adopt.
Is that the case? Or, like, if you
No.
aren't married,
She could definitely apply by herself to adopt Brookson if that's what she so chose. She was already in the adoption process with him before it was dismissed, that she could have done that.
Right.
I mean, she makes money. She had her own house. So she knew she would be able to pass a background check.
Yeah. Someone just asked if Atrayu is Brookson's dad. Did you know that there's a rumor that Atrayu was Brookson's dad back in?
Yes. Ivy told me about that years ago.
Where did that rumor come from?
I have no idea.
Okay. And obviously they didn't buy you a house.
No, they did not buy me a house.
Yeah, I know. Everyone keeps saying that, and I'm like, no, they didn't. Her and her husband got back together. They got a house together, and I was like, no, they bought a house, and I was like, no, it's a coincidence.
Yeah, no, my husband bought that with his VA loan for being in the military. They did not buy us a house. Like I said, Ivy and Atrayu gave me absolutely no payment, no money, no nothing for the adoption.
Someone said, because he looked like him, why did it fail? Because of Atrayu's background. So no, we talked about why it failed, and she's not
It's
entirely
basically
sure.
undetermined why exactly it failed.
So they're not exactly sure, but they thought it might have been something to do with the adopting out of state. Yeah, why do you keep talking about Brooks like he isn't yours? That's kind of a tough question, though. Because, like, you can't, he's kind of both of theirs. Like, I know it sounds weird because, I don't know, you can answer that one, Caitlyn. I don't even know how to answer it.
I mean, it's hard to say. I will say when I first came and got Brookson, for the first 3 weeks, I did not refer to myself as mom. I called myself as Caitlyn. I wanted him to call me mom on his own terms because I didn't want to make the situation more complicated on him.
Yeah. So when you made the TikTok,
has it been hard to bond with him? No, it has not been hard to bond with him. He's basically been lovey and affectionate with me since the day I got him. He'll sit and cuddle with me on the couch just like all the other kids. He sits and plays with all my other kids. Basically acts like nothing happened.
Yeah, that's so weird. So when you did the first TikTok, the one with Aren't You the Girl Who Gave Her Baby Up for Adoption, was that when you were talking to Ivy or not?
Ivy and I haven't really talked when I did that. I just had people constantly coming to me asking me, how did you get Brookson back after 3 years? How do you have him back? So I just made a TikTok.
Because she was like, in those comments, she was defending you in those comments. So I wasn't sure if you guys were friends at that time or not friends.
Yeah, she was defending me. And that's because I told her that people were telling me other opposites of what she had been telling me.
Yeah. I mean, I like, honestly, I would be really careful about what you take in from Atrayu, and because, like, I get it, like, you've seen screenshots and stuff, but I'm sure there are screenshots that you haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like, anyone can paint a picture.
And that's, you know, I look at it both ways, but seeing some of the things that Ivy has said about what I did during this whole time really hurt, knowing that I basically was mentally hurting myself trying to help her figure out what was going on in the adoption.
Yeah.
Because I by no means did not have to do what I did to try and figure it out.
And like, look, if these things were said, look, I'm not condoning that, but at the same time, she has been through so much this year. Like, I can imagine that her state of mind is a little bit off after losing a baby, losing 2 children custody, a husband doing what he did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Ivy's done
Oh, I
some
mean,
things in the
I
past, but
understand, and
fuck.
I know it's been a rough year for her, but it still does not condone that kind of behavior. It does not condone lying. It does not condone making the birth mother of your child look like a terrible person who just came and snatched your child from you
Mm,
to other people that are involved in the situation.
yeah. I do wonder if like maybe she was overwhelmed, and so when she's saying certain things to Atrayu and Vicky, but at the same time, like one, I don't even think Vicky should be involved. Like I think she just needs to like butt the fuck out of everything because I feel like she makes things a lot worse for them.
I mean, that's just
It's
being a
hard,
mom, though. I mean, my mom did the same thing with me and my son's dad. You know,
but
she
she picks
was.
and chooses. She picks and chooses. Like if she was just being a mom and she cared about her kid and the kind of person he was, there was a lot of things that she wouldn't be that she'd be standing up for. You know what I mean? Like one would be obviously going back and seeing. She didn't need to be there to go back and see her kid. Like to see when Atreyu went back there to see the baby, she didn't need to. But at the time, like I wonder if they're telling the same story because I know that he didn't want to go back, but she offered to go back to see Ivy, and Ivy said no. But it wasn't the both
Like
of
I
them
said,
going back together, from what I knew.
yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about all of that. None of that. I mean, I don't personally put myself in those positions. I just talk about whatever has to do with Brooks.
I would definitely, like, I mean, it's obviously your life, but at the end of the day, if you love Brooks and you care about Brooks, anything that happened between you and Ivy, like I know you're mad at her or whatever, I get that. But whatever happened between
Oh,
you
I mean, I
guys
still,
is something you
if
probably
she
should just.
actually tried, she knows where I am. She knows, she could have offered for us to come to her house one day. She's not made outside of going to the beach. She's not made any effort to see him. Like,
I
hey,
get
y'all
that,
want
but
to come out to the
when
house
if
today?
you're coming and you're staying, you know, and you go and seeing a Atreyu and stuff, and you've made plans with that family, and then she's offered to go to the beach, and you said, "Oh well, I can't," because, like, the way she would have perceived that is that you don't want to see her, and it's
Well,
making an excuse. You know what I mean?
she messaged me on my birthday, and that was when she made the comment about going and doing something on Sunday. And I told her, she said a comment. She was like, "But I bet you already have plans with Vicky." I said, "No, we don't have any other plans other than going out on the boat tomorrow." So then she made the comment about Sunday. And I mean, she could have made plans with me today, either before or after taking Az to the airport.
But did you
Yesterday
think
or
maybe,
Saturday.
like, if you, like, you know, you turned her down and said, "Well, we can't because the kids have had sunburn," which is fair enough. I understand that, but you also could have, if you were putting the effort in for Brooks, you also could have said, "But hey, would you like to go and have breakfast tomorrow at this place? Or maybe we could come to your house." You know what I mean? Like, when someone like rejects you, but then doesn't leave the ball open, like doesn't leave it open for you to, you know what I mean? Like it probably felt like she was rejected the first time, and she probably didn't want to make another effort, like not make the effort, but she probably didn't want to suggest something again to be turned down again because, like, obviously now the ball's in your court. Like, she's open and said, well, she wants to go and do something. Like, is
I
it
guess
really
that's
her
where
job to
there's
keep
a
coming back?
communication.
All right, guys, so I'm going to leave part 1 of the video here and we'll come back for part 2. Before I do go, though, I just want to say a quick thank you to Sam, who screen recorded it so that everybody that missed it today on TikTok could come back and watch it on YouTube. And for all of those people that joined us today on TikTok and left likes and was commenting, thank you so much. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. But I'll catch you guys on the page at TWT 5.0.